We head now to Christchurch, where a Housing New Zealand social housing complex is attracting very bad publicity indeed. A meeting is being held on Friday following a complaint of violence, abusive language, burglaries and even excrement being smeared on a neighbour's car. The meeting will be held in the office of the new Christchurch Central MP, Duncan Webb, who told me a short time ago that it appears to be just one of the units and an arrest has now been made, meaning it may be possible to stop all of this happening. But we begin with the complex itself.
It's a relatively new complex in Phillipstown, one of the lower decile areas of Christchurch. It's 9 units, so it's relatively high density. And there's been some pretty disruptive behaviour. And I think everyone knows that the behaviour that's been going on is at one level unacceptable and in other instances just downright criminal. And it's pretty clear that we can't have that. So we've had incidents of domestic violence, there's suggestions of some burglaries, and also just sort of shouting and screaming, and then some incident where some excrement was wiped on someone's car. So all pretty unacceptable behaviour.
And it's not in dispute that this behaviour is coming from this complex?
No, there's no dispute there, and certainly, we've... there's been complaints by residents and surrounding neighbours, and Housing New Zealand is involved and the police are involved. So that, steps are being taken here. 9
units. I'm guessing that not all the units are misbehaving in this way, the occupants of not all the units.
No, look, and I think it's really important to identify that, most people in these units just, they're in Housing New Zealand units, so social housing, they're perfectly decent, reasonable people, just want to live the quiet life like anyone else. But there's certainly one unit that is problematic. It appears there were some other people in other units, but they've actually moved on. So we've got, as I understand it, as of today, the police have actually made an arrest in relation to one of the burglaries. And that may address the issue as well, depending on what the outcome of that arrest is.
And that person, obviously if they've been arrested, this is still allegedly, but that person is from that unit, that one unit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I understand to be the case at this time, yeah.
Have you spoken to the police?
Look, my office has spoken to the police, but I haven't spoken personally.
But there's a meeting on Friday, right? This is a sort of all-in on Friday.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so there's a meeting with the police and with Housing New Zealand and with a whole lot of the affected residents from the Housing New Zealand units and from the neighbourhood to just come down and talk about what's gone on, to understand what steps Housing New Zealand are taking. You've got to remember that Housing New Zealand is just a landlord. They don't have any special powers. So just like any landlord, they've got to go through the residential tenancy procedures, and you can't just throw someone out because they're having a loud party occasionally. You've got to actually go through the tribunal process.
Presumably, though, if somebody has been arrested for burglary and is found guilty of burglary, and stuff like wiping excrement on cars and abusing people and domestic violence can be visited upon the same units in the complex, then eviction becomes a possibility, doesn't it, obviously?
Absolutely. And look, you've got to remember, of course, that Housing New Zealand provides social housing. It provides housing to people who are most in need. And, the Labor Party's just announced that it's finding 100 more houses in Christchurch for homeless people. And these are people with addiction problems sometimes and mental health problems and so on. They are the most difficult tenants. We don't want to evict people and just throw them out on the street because that's just putting the problem elsewhere and probably exacerbating the problem. So it's really important that eviction is a last resort, and even when someone is evicted from one place, we still need to house them because we don't want people of any kind on the street.
So what happens next?
Well, look, that's what I'll find out on Friday. I think what's going to happen is the Housing New Zealand is actively managing the situation. The police know about it. They're involved, so that's really good. And obviously incidents of domestic violence are a top priority for them. So, look, I think the answer is things are happening, but this isn't unknown. High-density complexes in social housing, they will have problems, and we need to make sure we get onto them as soon as we can and not sort of ignore them until they blow up like this one has.
Duncan Webb, Christchurch Central MP. We will talk to him after that meeting on Friday.